So, good evening. Welcome back to another show. Tonight, I'm John. I'm going to talk about Steve Bruce. And sorry a bit late because I'm having technical problems at this moment in time. Now I'm back. And if you do like my videos, can you please smash the likes up and subscribe if you're already new? And always leave the comment sections down below. And I had to think about this over because what's going on in Newcastle at the moment in time? Steve Bruce has joined us back in 2019, and it was like 12th, 13th choice. And apparently, he asked Charlie for the job because no one else didn't want to take the job on. So Steve Bruce left Sheffield Wednesday. He came to Newcastle, excuse me, and basically because he claims to be a Newcastle fan, and I was thinking, wow, if that is the case, he must be desperate. Then, do you know what I mean? But he was told by Alan Shearer and John Gibson for the Chronicle and other people, do not take the job on, because if you do, you're going to get found out and the job's going to eat you up. The club's too big for him. The guy's 50, 60 years old, and it's beginning to stress him out a wee bit. So, and like I said, stick a comments in the section down below. Please subscribe as well. And yeah, go for the comments here. Steve, here we go. Well, the reason why John wants to talk about is the stream is because he is just a great looks. Yeah, okay. Do I let that Bruin sauce and bacon butty? Who cares? Surely, even John, 2 wins and 19. Where do you go from here? Look like the championship. Well, if we get beat on Saturday against Brighton, excuse me, then unfortunately, I think we're the guy doing. And according to Liam Kennedy, on the Shields Gazette, spoke to Steve Wraith on Anything Matters, and he's basically saying that he cannot see Bruce going anytime soon. So if that's the case, then it's relegation out of the way. And to be fair, we deserve the guy doing, because the players don't want to play for Bruce, and the club could have done something about it and say, right, you know what? let's manage and get Graham Jules in, come over and take over the job. And it just haven't happened because the club don't care. Ashley don't care. Charlie don't care. Where are they? They're in hiding. Thomas, evening, John, even too, my guy. Liam, hope you're okay, mate. If I was Bruce, I would leave because it's mental health. Liam, my guy, welcome to the building. And John, did it surprise you that Murphy created the joint most chance against Villa? He only played 11 minutes. Fierce and Dummett were the other joint top creators with 42 chances. Do you know what it is, Liam? I'm not surprised, mate, because I knew Jacob Murphy as a canny player on his day, but he's not been given a chance. He's out of contract at the end of the season, and Steve Bruce do not want to play him from the start, and I just don't understand it at all. He'd rather play as favourites like John Shelby out of form, Jeff Hendrick not good enough as well, and he just picks his favourites, and my God, ain't good enough. So I'll come to Bruce in a bit. Claire, I agree with you, Liam, but Bruce is choosing money over his mental health. That is criminal, to be honest with you. So your health comes first. Let's put it this way. I went in hospital last year in April. I had blood clots on my lungs, right? And I didn't think I was going to make it. And do you know what? I said to him, I said, look, give us a couple of months and I'll come back. And he said, good idea, because at the end of the day, they want us to be correct. And you know what? We both came to agreement. They knew my situation. And guess what? It worked. It's all about looking after your staff, and that's what it's all about. And I still want to thank them to that very day. So Steve Bruce needs to think about it. Just walk away from the club. The job's too big for you, right? And just look after your wife and just enjoy your retirement, mate. Got plenty of money anyway. So there you go. Yeah. Evening, John. Even David. Will be okay. Good evening, Jay. Hope you're having a great evening. Yeah, I'm having a great evening, Claire's just, just a long day at work today, and I thought I'd do this. Having problems with me streamers at the minute. Excuse me. But hey ho. It is what it is, but I'm glad I'm on it. And Claire, I hope you're okay. I hope Snorri is fine. Oh, she says meow. And I still want your cat, I still want her. So I've got Liam getting foot on us being linked with a striker from the Turkish league. Liam, I don't know anything about that, mate. I really don't. Who is he? And I haven't got a clue who he is. I got back late from work, so I had no idea today. So tell me who he is, and I'll probably find it for you. So, yeah, Steve Bruce, back to Steve Bruce. Yeah, in his first season, yeah, he got us 13th. But he's quite lucky because the teams below us didn't win enough games right? The football being served up is shite, yeah? And he plays like a 5-4-1 at first, and then he realised that ain't working. 3 wins from 23 games playing that formation, 3 wins, yeah? Ain't good enough. This manager doesn't do tactics, yeah? He doesn't care. He just tells the players to go out and just play. Jack Grealish called it right. The results this season has been absolutely shocking. It really is. And he says he's going to do things this way. Yeah. And his record is absolutely shocking. 2 wins for 19. Unbelievable. And that ain't good enough for me. That's a sackable offence. Any other club, like his last club, like Wednesday or even Villa, he would have been gone because no one ain't going to pull up with that. And even the League 2 club would have sacked him weeks ago anyway. But hey, that's what clubs anyway. So tell us what you think, guys. You got any questions about him? Just fire away and I'll give you the answers back. Lee said, "Hi, John. Hope you're having a great day. Bruce has sabotaged our club. He ain't the only one, Lee. Ashley and Charlie as well." It's Aaron Bupensa. Never heard of him, Leah. Never heard of him. Is he a young player or is he that good? Because I'll tell you something now. We get relegated. No one ain't going to come to Newcastle. I'm telling you. We're going to end up having under 23s and they're going to struggle as well. But again, they got more heart than the one we got at the minute. John, are you from the North East? Bristol born originally, but I lived at Newcastle for a long time. I lived in Gosforth and I lived in Consett. But I went back to Bristol because my mum's health wasn't very good back in 2016. But she's fine now. And I got my job back as well, which is great. I'm enjoying it. And I've always said to myself, I want to retire at 55. And then hopefully one day I could do this full time. You just never know. If I get over 1,000 people, if I do all my streams and that, you just never know. But yeah. So the day before, I'm missing North East, by the way. Don't worry about that. But I got my job in Bristol. So yeah. Geordie again, the offer last season, we would our luck. This season is completely different. Bruce have been found out. Mate, it was found out after the Liverpool game and they sussed him out. I mean, if you look at the games he play, every time they go behind, they just don't come back. He got no fight in this at all whatsoever. Steve Bruce doesn't instill confidence into the players. He have confidence in himself, you know. Hands in his pockets. How do you say it out? Yeah. And my guy, I'm not being funny, right? He's had a break records now. He's going to get us relegated. Mike Ashley's going to keep him on and to say, you know what, Steve, carry on, mate. So I try to sell this club for it over. Yeah. No one ain't going to buy the club if you're in the championship. Unless they must be stupid. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't pay 300 million for the championship. I wouldn't even pay half of that. So I've got a clever game. Oh, thanks so much, Jay. I'm very good, thanks. And Snow's and number Yao. What do you think of the tactics needs to be against Brighton? Now, against Brighton, for me, it'd be a 4-2-3-1. However, Steve Bruce ain't going to change it at all whatsoever. He's still going to play this split striker sort of thing, like a 4-3-1-2 formation. That's what he calls it. Wow. And for me, if you look at the front three, Ryan Fraser, Dwight Gale, Joe Linton, right? Joe Linton should be up front. Ryan Fraser should be playing on a wing, yeah? Dwight Gale ain't a winger. And by the way, Dwight Gale is a striker, he's not a winger. Joe Linton is a 10, not really a striker. Ryan Fraser playing up front. That guy, honestly, man, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to pin it down to players. I'll pin it down to the manager because he hasn't got a flipping clue. Do you know what I mean? That game against Villa was crying out for Andy Carroll on Friday night because I can guarantee you one, he would have scored 1 or 2 goals that night. The problem, Steve Bruce doesn't care. He brings him on with what, 4 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go. And Steve Bruce is doing this so he can get the sack. He is playing for the sack. Hey, Claire, I still want Snow, man. Can I still have her, please? Thank you. She'll probably say no, but I do love her. I got Liam again. Birmingham sacked their manager and as their relegation battle. And I believe Lee Boyer has just taken over, by the way, on a 2.5-year deal. Left Charlton last night and he's gone to Birmingham as their new manager. I wish him every success on that one. He'll probably need it, by the way. Liam, I don't know much about him. I just know he's got 18 goals. I heard Wolves want him as well. He'll probably go to Wolves then. The thing is, though, with Newcastle, we're going for a player. Don't get us wrong. When no one has done coming for him, guess what? we get them, but if someone else came from them as well, we pull out because Mike actually doesn't do transfer wars, unfortunately. Wow. It just goes to show that the club's gone backwards 100%. David, I think it's time for Murphy, Matty Longstaff, and Kulo to come in if he's fit. We want him back in on Saturday. Mate, I would rather play 4-4-2, play with two decent wingers, do you know what I mean? And end of the day, man, Steve Bruce just picks his favourites. The 3 players he picks, Shelby, Henrik, and Joe Linton, I'll get rid at the end of the season, man. Whether it's stay up or not. Those 3 players have to be through the exit door if we are going to move forward. But I'm afraid, under this manager, we ain't moving forward, you know what I mean? We need a clean slate from top to bottom. Simple as that. Got Steve Gay, what's a concert? Concert is in County Durham. Charlie wrote in the training ground this afternoon and told me, if you get a draw on Saturday, I'll get a 10-year deal because we'll be 4 matches unbeaten. Wow. Just for the record, during the last 3 games, Steve Bruce is quite happy with draws. I want wins. You know, I got an elite mentality. And Carol couldn't tie shoelaces. Okay, cool. Claire, I agree with you, John. And if I can clone Snorri, you can have a clone version. Oh, thing is, I love teasing Claire and Snorri because I do love Snorri because she sends a photo and on the tweet, and she's absolutely a good picture. She's amazing, and I wish I can cuddle her. She's amazing. Paul, I've just seen on this website with Lewandowski, Mike Ashley's going to put in a large bid. Baby Lewandowski, maybe. Okay, cool. Liam, in the summer, regardless, if you get relegated or not, we need a clear out. Yes, there's a few players I'll get rid of as well for a start. Emil Kraft I'll get rid as well. Should have mentioned his name last night. He can go. Yeah. What's going to happen to Fernandes? I just don't know. Wait and see. And Lascelles, does he want Pasha's news? Who knows? Kieran Clark's going to stay. He's just on a new deal. Jamal Lewis could stay. Dummett, I think close to pick up on as well because he is a fantastic defender for me. For me, I'll play him at defence next season, no matter what. Yeah, if Aaron Shah leaves the club, and I think he will do now, then wow, that would be a huge miss. But they've made absolutely no effort to offer him a brand new deal. No effort at all. Guys, if you like the video, could you please stick a like on the vid and also subscribe if you're any new and leave the comments and sections down below. And if anyone wants to come on me, sure. Could you please send us a DM and I will get you on as well. I got a DM off Liam. There's the blue's good on the ticket here and the comments, pal. Liam, thank you very much indeed if you are listening, my friend. And I got a clear retweet there. This is the thing. I'm trying to get people to come on me chat like a webcam, and some's got StreamYard and some haven't, so that's fair enough. I can understand that. So there you go. I want to do a fan cam soon and get the fans on my chat on me. Sure. I've got Thomas getting Xavier and actually have to leave. How are they still here? Thomas, they'll be both gone in the summer. They're definitely gone. They're both out of contract as well. Liam, if you go down, we ain't coming back until new owners come in. Liam, 100% with you, mate. And we could end up doing the Sunderland. And I will say that till blue in the face. We'll end up doing the Sunderland. You think about it, 12 players out of contract. Some top players going to leave. Yeah. And whoever wants to come to Newcastle, they're going to think it's a great club. But they're going to be talking to Rafa Benitez. They're going to talk to some Newcastle greats and say, wow, well, look, at the end of the day, I'll come to Newcastle, but I do not want to play for Steve Bruce. And Steve Bruce is yesterday's man. But I heard Liam Kennedy come out and say that if Steve Bruce does get the sack, we're going to end up getting like a Tony Pulis. We're going to end up getting like a Mark Hughes. Dinosaur managers here. Do you know what I mean? We as fans deserve better than that. We really, really do. Because now we had 14 years of the shite under this guy, right? And he does not care. It's about time now. Our fans came steaming into Ashley. Do something about it, yeah? I could just turn around to you guys and say, look, don't renew your season tickets. I could quite easily say that, but I'm not going to say that because if you want to renew your season tickets, that's up to you. Excuse me. That's up to you. If you don't want to renew your season tickets, I'll respect you either way. But at the end of the day, I'd love to go back to Newcastle United. I really would. But if there's new owners, I'll come back. But I can go to games whenever I can. And then you get people turn around and saying, yeah, but you got to back Ashley, blah, blah, blah. Not really. You supporting the team. Simple as that. And I've got Claire here. I'll come on again soon. Claire, you can definitely come anytime you want. Just let us know. And you can talk about, again, in fact, what we could have done, we could have come on Thursday, because I could do a watch along on Thursday night between Milan and Man United at the San Siro in the Europa League. That'd be a cracking game. But at the minute, Milan got beat. Excuse me. And it looks like Inter Milan's going to win the Scudetto this season, even though Milan give it a right go. And they got beat 1-0 off Napoli on Sunday night, by the way. So back to Bruce. I mean, for me, if he gets sacked, he loses his job, then I can't see him getting back into football ever again, because the guy's finished. His health is not very good. He looks stressed. The players do not want to play for him anymore. And the way he's treated the players, like the Longstaffs, ASM, Richie, and all that, he's not strong enough. He ain't strong enough. He loves the easy life, and he's getting a bit stressed now. You can tell by his press conferences, he's a bit rude. And for me, I just think he is done. Because I will say now, if you don't get sacked on Saturday, if you get beat, I'm going to resign myself, so we're going to get relegated. I'll get lots of Arsenal fans and United fans and others as well saying, if we lose on Saturday, we'll be in big trouble. And if we don't get rid of Bruce, then we're going to get relegated. I can't disagree with that, man. Because at the end of the day, we want best for our club. And Lee Charnley is supposed to be in charge when Ashley's not around. He said it's not hands-on at the moment. But hey, listen, I don't know what to say, man. But I think Lee Charnley is weak as well. He's so scared because he wants the easy life as well. You know what I mean? We definitely need a new chief exec. But then again, if he gets sacked, we'll probably end up getting Steve Nixon as well. What does he know? He's not experienced enough. You know what I mean? But this is the guy that recommended Ashley to spend 40 million on Joe Linton. Yeah? Which is absolutely shocking. Listen, he's done okay, I'm not going to lie. He's done okay, but he has not got a finishing product at all whatsoever. Liam, I think people are already going to St. James Park to give Steve Bruce hell. And the thing's like, Liam, I mean, I've heard that 10,000 people could be going back to the game against Sheffield United. But at the end of the day, me personally, I don't think that should happen. That's my opinion, because we're still in a lockdown, and I think that should be sorted out at the end of the season. And then hopefully by next season, you get more people coming in if they follow the rules right. So, Ross, pick up John, lad. Hope you're well, mate. I'm absolutely fine, Ross. Welcome to the building, my guy. Good luck on Thursday against Olympiacos. And I hope that you win that game. I think you can go away, you know. I hope so. And Mikel Arteta's doing okay. This is the thing. Mikel Arteta was linked to Newcastle as well, but he spoke to Rafa Benitez apparently, and he just said thanks or no thanks, you know, because he's too ambitious for Ashley. You know what I mean? But the trouble is with Newcastle and Ashley and Charlie, they don't like bad press. They don't. But they love to lie to people. They do love to lie to people. And if you like to support us, then believe you and me, you're going to get found out. And again, don't lie to the fans, because I'm afraid that ain't going to work, mate. I've just got to bring something up a minute as well, which I saw a day. I'm going to get it up in a second. Let me just get this up a second. Trying to share the screen a minute. I've got to bring this up as well. This is why the club is in an absolute mess. I'm going to bring it up, by the way. There you go. Right, this is all going to bring up, right? I mean, just in a tweet today from a guy called this Dave, right? I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it out, yeah? Victor Fernandez used to play for Newcastle for under 23s under Rafa Benitez, right? And he made a flipping good point here. I'm going to read it out off the record. Fernandez said, at the beginning, it was a good place to be. I was happy. I was playing, but after my injury, it all went to shite. No one cared about him. excuse me, at the moment, I feel like I was done. The chance was never given to anyone except Matty Longstaff, and he scored against Man U. Now he's got a 2-year contract with first team wage. I think Newcastle's United's Academy is fair because it has to be there. They don't care about what happens there. The prospect of first team football and the opportunity to prove himself in Romania top flight led Fernandes to agree a 3-year deal with Victoria Constanta. Wow. Guys, what do you make of that? That is big words, man. That is huge words by Victor Fernandes, man. Do you know? He is sending a strong message to the owner, the CEO, and Steve Bruce. He's basically saying the training complex is shite. Excuse me. Yeah, he said training complex is absolutely rubbish. You know what I mean? And that should be a strong warning to this owner and the CEO to get done about it. Rafa Benitez even said that as well. Do you know what I mean? But they don't give a flying toss. Do you know what I mean? It is the worst training complex I've seen in years. That is conference level. Sorry, conference level. Got some more tweets on here. Yeah, you've got down and read that, Claire. I have to come sure soon. Liam against I think people call this SJP to give Steve as hell. Claire, do you think that this take will actually happen, Claire? Well, if you stay in the Premier League, yes, we will. But if you get relegated, unless Ashley accepts the reduced price of the club, he will not get 300 million for the club. If you're lucky to get 150, 160 in the Championship, then I can't see a takeover happening soon. But Mike Ashley is just being an absolute idiot. You know, you should have sacked Steve Bruce. Should have sacked him, get a decent manager in, yeah? And then maybe we'll stay up in mid-table. And then we have a great chance of getting a takeover done. But unfortunately, guys, again, we get relegated, we are screwed. We need this takeover. We need to be moving forward. We need new era. Just give our fans hope, ambitions, and drive. I would be fine, but this owner ain't give us that. And also, I'll blame the Premier League as well for not pushing accepting this takeover to go through. I'll blame the Premier League as well because they do not want us in the tops. They want to upset the top 6 in the Premier League. That's what's going to arbitration now, you know. But I still think we'll win that because you cannot deny the buyer and the owner, buyer and the seller, the club. You just cannot. You know what I mean? But all I would say is now, if you look at it now, Mike Ashley is a hopeless, arrogant owner, which doesn't care. He's quite happy to see that club sink. Do you know what I mean? That shouldn't happen. Would he be allowed to let clubs like Man U, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs to sink like this? Absolutely no way. I cannot. It's an institution, the club. And we need the best clubs in the top leagues. And we are one of them. But Mike Ashley, I'm sorry, doesn't give a toss again. And the sooner he goes, the better. John Joe Linton scratching the door. Can't see him. And I've got Steve, I take Conte AFC to European glory, just like Football Manager. Do you watch, John? Yeah, okay. Yeah, man. But honestly now, I'm not being funny, but Steve Bruce needs to win this game on Saturday. Graham Potter has come out and said he's not worried about Newcastle United. Yeah. And when you get a manager come out and say that, then it just tells everything about our club. Do you know what I mean? Our club is an absolute joke. It really, really is, man. And we're just a sinking ship. You know? And you got teams like Norwich. It's going to come up this season, yeah? They're ambitious. You've got Brentford, very ambitious, new stadium. Swansea under Stevie Cooper, absolutely fantastic. Got Freddie Rubman as well, mind, you know. Bournemouth is trying to get back up again. Watford playing really well, trying to get back up again, yeah. There's streets ahead of us, you know. And if we get relegated, we'll not be the top club. We won't, because you've got teams like Barnes playing great football, you know. And you've got Preston playing fantastic football as well. Most of the championships gives it a real go, yeah. But unfortunately, we're not getting back up again. The only way to get back up again It's getting a quality manager coming through the door, Chris Wilder. But I think he end up going to either Celtic or Crystal Palace next season. Got Steve Joe loves a bit of WD-40. Cool. Claire, I really hope it goes through for your fans. You deserve hope and positive direction. Claire, well done. Thank you very much. You know what it is, right? We won't be rubbing shoulders like Man U, rubbing shoulders at Arsenal, Spurs, Liverpool. Give it a right go. Get those games back again, Get those games back. Like the 4-3s. We had a right goal against Man U back in 1996. We needed a draw and we could have won the league. We had 7 chances in the first half. Give us hope. There's no hope in this team because I think the players are down too. So I don't know what to say, man. But guys, could you please take a like on the video and subscribe if you're new, and also subscribe to my Twitter page, John Swain NUFC42. And it's just a shame I can't get any fans on and eat for some reason. Why? Because maybe we've got other things to do, and I'll get that as well. So you're going into Brighton. We're going to see what tactics he's going to play on Saturday. This could be his last game in because, like I said, the players don't want to play for him. It's players like John Shelby, Jeff Hendrick, and Joe Linton, and even Emil Kraft that's going to get him the sack. He should have got sacked months ago because he's absolutely hopeless. He's taken us down, and even John Gibson had a right go at him for taking a job on, and Shiva said to him, "Don't do it." He's been warned, but he's not a Newcastle fan. He's a Man United fan. If he was a Newcastle fan, he'd play for us as well and play a couple of seasons for us just to prove that he's a fan. Or come to our club, play a couple of years for your retirement. That's a proper fan. Ain't going to happen. So, got Claire again. Well done, getting 51 subscribers, Jay. You'll get to 1,000 in no time. What I'm doing, Claire, thanks for that, by the way. What I'm doing, I'll try to get more people, more people in my workplace as well, like deliveries and stuff. Try and get my name on this as well, like, get them subscribed, which I think is fantastic. And if I can get 1,000, then I'll be moving on to another level. And I hope, if you tell your mates, please, 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 tell your mates to come on. Do you know what I mean? And I'll come with a challenge on. David, what I'll do, right, I'll find you on Twitter. Right? If you want to come on, right, I'll send you the link now, mate. Okay. If you want to come on and give us 2 seconds, mate. Because I've got someone's coming on in a bit, I hope. Middlesbrough's winning 1-0 against Preston. Brentford playing double away, and they're winning by 2-0. And looking good. Just give us 2 seconds there. David, could you do us a favour? Go on my Twitter page and just send us a DM, right? And I'll just send you the link right away, and I'll grab you on there, mate, and then you can talk about Steve Bruce. So, yeah, it looks like someone's going to come on, which I don't mind. And getting, in fact, coming on there. So, just, do you think Steve Bruce should stay at Newcastle if we get relegated? Do you think he should get an opportunity to get us back up again? For me, it'd be a definite no-no. Because you know why? Because he'll not get us up. I mean, apparently, he'll probably get like 5 games to shine up. And if he doesn't do it, then get him out. Because for me, it ain't good enough. So, yeah. Like I said, I'm dreading the Saturday against Brighton. I just don't feel confident going into the game at all whatsoever. And try and get Dave on now. Because I love to do webcams as well, man. Get one paste on there. He should come on now. And then Claire says, "Snow's just coming to listen to you, John." Do you know what it is? She's everyone's friend, isn't she? She's everyone's friend. She loves everybody. and she loves me as well. Do you know what I mean? But I still want her. Clever. I don't think Clever give her away to us. Do you know what I mean? But she loves saying meow anyway. But she loves her food. But I hope Jan and Daff are okay. And yeah, and just go and see what happens on that. I hope Dave comes on. Send him the link. And if anyone wants to come on, just let us know, and just go from there. And there's my guy, David.
Hello, John.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Yeah, man.
I think with Steve Bruce, some of his tactics are a bit not even worse than sort of kids level, really. Like sort of Dwight Gale on the left. He's never played on the left in his whole entire career, and he's just like I think personally that it's time for Murphy to come back on the side, Manquillo and Matty Longstaff. For me, John Joe Shelby just doesn't have it anymore. He sulks. If it's not going his way, he just sulks. And like he just doesn't want to know, does he, really, for most of the game?
I totally agree, man. David, I mean, the fact of the matter is, right, when you get relegation battles sort of thing, you have to have fights. You have to have the heart, the passion, desire. John Joe Shelby doesn't have that at all whatsoever. The guy, if he was going to get us relegated, I'll tell you something, right? I mean, I'd get him dropped. I'd get someone else in, sort of like Elias Anderson in there as well, or even because he's eager, even Matty Longstaff. I'll change that midfield, mate.
I don't know if you saw, but under 23s played Leeds yesterday, and they had Xavier, Atsu, and Anderson were all in that side. I think Anderson was on the bench, but he come on. But Xavier and actually Atsu scored the goal for Newcastle. They lost 2-1, but Atsu scored the goal. For me, I know Atsu's not great, but he might give you a bit of desire, he tries to beat his man and stuff. So that's what we need, really, is forward-thinking players and players that's not going to sulk when it's not going their way.
Would you bring Atsu back though? Because personally, I wouldn't bring him back. I mean, we need players that's going to perform now. I mean, I just don't think Atsu's the answer for me. He's just too inconsistent for me. Do you know what I mean?
I think Atsu maybe not further up the pitch, but maybe in defence, maybe on the right side of right back or left back. Just because he's not great going forward, but defensively, if you tell him that he's got to do this one job and that's to defend, because his legs have gone a little bit. If he's only got to stay at like the first half of the pitch, he might be okay. I think Yedlin, well, we've looked at Yedlin. He's went over to Galatasaray, and he looks like he's changed his career around, really. He's crossing balls into the box for goals, and this is a Yedlin that we didn't really see here. So, I think with Newcastle, they've got to try everything that they can to get out of this relegation battle. My worry is with Brighton is I watched them against Southampton on Sunday, and they played well. They deserved the 3 points. They should have had a penalty. I think Southampton should have had a blatant penalty that wasn't given. But obviously with VAR, it's very subjective because the person who was watching the cameras, if they don't see it as a penalty, it doesn't get given, which is a bit dodgy. But I think with Brighton, we've got to be careful because they have got some good pace. The centre halves are very tall. We've got to be careful in the box that like no sort of like fouls and pushes and stuff. And Lascelles has got to be careful as well because Lascelles is bad for pushing people in the box and stuff. I think we've got to watch that he doesn't nudge someone. So he's got to be no mistakes at all like that. I think Dummett on Friday, Dummett was the man of the match for me. I thought he was outstanding at left back. And I think Paul Dummett, he's not flashy, but he does the job well at left back. And I don't think we should hang out Lewis to drive, but I think Lewis just needs a little bit more support off the manager, really, because he just throws players under the bus. Like Matt Ritchie and Dubravka and that, it's like it's not very good. With Dubravka, he's trying to blame Dubravka twice for goals conceded, and the one on Friday wasn't Dubravka's fault. He couldn't do nothing about a deflection, so
yeah. Well, you got some good points there as well, man. I mean, Paul Dummett's absolutely quality. I mean, without Paul Dummett, we'd be struggling. But I'd rather have Paul Dummett to left back, and Lewis can just take a breather at this moment in time. You just mentioned yourselves as well. Listen, on his day, he's okay, but he's clumsy on the ball as well. But he has got us 2 goals in the last few games, and it's embarrassing that you got a defender that's scored the last 2 goals, you know, and none of our strikers haven't done it.
I think with defense are quite strong. We've conceded a lot of. Haven't conceded that many goals in the last few games, like against Villa and against Wolves. Against Wolves, and obviously we beat Southampton in a 3-2 game where you can throw away 2 of their goals because we were down to 9 men, really. So but I think against my worry is against Brighton, they're very good in the air. Mopai is very fast, and he's quite clever. So with defenders, have got to be careful that they don't get almost lured into a sense of security where he sort of keeps them on the edge of the box and then he does a trick past them. Because I just think I think we lack pace in defence. Really, I don't think the Cells is as fast as he used to be. No. I think he's good. I think he's good when he's got to defend his area, but when he's got to track back, I feel like he could be caught on the way.
I agree with you, man. You just talked about not being quick. If you look at the 11, the team, do you think you've got fitness issues at all? Do you think you look unfit?
I think they do look unfit. They look like in the first half, Newcastle was the best team, without a doubt, and if we had better finishing, if Joe Linton had not squared it and shot, we might have been 1 or 2 up at half time. But it seems like we go out for the second half, and it's almost like they sit either they're knackered on 60 minutes or they just go into the shell. It's like Bruce tells them in the changing room, "Oh, we'll just here for a point, lads. So just sit back and it'll be fine. Just defend, and win a relegation battle at the end of the day. We need the 3 points as best as we can." But I do feel one point I was going to say as well about Steve Bruce and fitness and injuries. Everywhere Steve Bruce has been, there's been a lot of injury problems. It was loads of injuries at Sheffield Wednesday when he was there. At Sunderland, at Hull. So I think it seems a bit of a coincidence that these injury problems keep following Bruce around. But obviously, one thing I would say as well, I don't think they train enough times either a week. 2 or 3 times a week is not enough for a Premier League team. I think they need to be training at least 4 days a week, at least. And the training ground itself needs a total overhaul. You know, we're a Premier League club and we're having our ice baths are wheelie bins. So it's just like
man, absolutely, absolutely, man. I mean, Rafa Benitez has been asking about that for a couple of years, and he's the only one. And Mike Ashley's come out in about 2003 and come out and say, and boasted, we're gonna have the best training facilities in Europe, and it hasn't even happened. Do you know what I mean? But the trouble is, they don't like bad press, Newcastle. They don't like bad press at all whatsoever. They don't like them having a go at them. Yeah, they love to have a go at you and lie to the fans. But I tell you something now, right? I mean, I'm just going to come on to the next one as well. If we get relegated, are we going to come back up again? I don't think we will, you know.
I don't think under Steve Bruce we won't come back up. We'll be in the middle of the Championship, where it has to be said that's where he had Sheffield Wednesday before he before he left for us. At Sheffield Wednesday, they finished out of middle table. He had them up towards the playoffs at one point, and they just fell away. Again, I know a couple of lads who support Wednesday, and they were saying that not only did him leaving affect us, obviously, where we are, but it did to stabilise their team, so they're in a bad situation fighting for relegation themselves.
Yeah.
They had, obviously, Bruce had a list of players that he was going to sign for Wednesday, and then he left, and obviously it left the team, it left them in limbo as well as our team. And obviously, he's been given 100 million to spend on players, and he still got them just outside the relegation zone. I know under Rafa, don't get us wrong, I'm not Rafa's biggest fan. The football sometimes was terrible to watch, but he grinded out results, and we had wins against Manchester City and Man United, playing well, playing attacking, but also being strong at the defensively as well. I think if we go down, I think we could do a Middlesbrough or a Leeds, sadly, and be down there for a lot of years, which you don't really want Newcastle to be down in the Championship, because we're a Premier League club, and like we've just seen down the road what happened to Sunderland with them being in League One. You know, they won a trophy in the AFL, the Papa John's Trophy.
Yeah.
But we don't want to be as bad as them by even being in that trophy. So we need to stay up. I do think if we stay up, I do think you have to sack them if we stay up.
Yeah.
But I think if we go down, he's got to sack him as well. I think Steve Bruce has to go no matter where we end up, whether we end up in the Championship or we end up in the Premier League. I personally think I would like Eddie Howe to come in as manager, but if we can't get him, maybe Chris Wilder. Because he's quite good with a budget. It's whether he would work under Ashley's budget really. But I think if we can beat Brighton, we can get out of trouble. But I think if we lose to Brighton, I think the momentum totally shifts to Fulham. And I think the difference is us look like where the motivation's just not there to stay up. But Fulham look like they're fighting, and Brighton were fighting, and even Burnley should have been dragged in a little bit further down, but they go away to Goodison Park and beat Everton there. And for me, I didn't see that happening. To be honest, I thought Everton would win 3 or 4 now, but I think even Burnley's fighting for survival. It just feels like the players on Friday night for a relegation battle, they didn't look like they were fighting for anything, and it's disappointing because Ryan Fraser came out to NUFC.TV and said that we want to win every game and we're fighting to stay up and we're passionate to stay in the league. But you didn't see that passion on Friday night. As soon as Aston Villa went 1-0 down, we went 1-0 down. It was almost like the heads dropped again. Lascelles was shrugging his shoulders again. And you don't want to see that. You want to see players that want to fight for the shirt. And one thing about Newcastle fans is this misnomer that we want Champions League football and all this rubbish. That's not true. All we want is a team that gives 110%, that come off, and when they're wearing the black and white shirts, they come off the pitch and give it absolutely everything. I think that's why Miguel Almiron's a massive miss, because don't get us wrong, obviously he's got his faults, his finishing's not great, but he gives 110%. He reminds me of another old Newcastle player who is Fulham manager currently, Scotty Parker. Was absolutely great for Newcastle and gave 110% when he got on the pitch. And I think that's what we want. I think that's why we need Matty Longstaff in there. I think we need Sean maybe back. I think we need Carroll and obviously Dummett himself, because they all know what it is to be Newcastle fans. They're all Newcastle fans and they all love the club. So we need that bit of identity, I think.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Good points there, miss. I'm going to just go through this quickly. Claire, that's great. My mum's too. Thanks, John. I still want Snorri, by the way, Claire. I'm not going to give up on you. And Guillermo XL said, sell Carroll and replace him with a Moore Leicester from Slavia Prague. I've never heard of this guy. Heard he's good, though. Had Sheffield Wednesday in the playoffs as Anud and near the playoffs as well. But you're right. But you said about the passion. I mean, the players' heads dropped when you see the goal, right? I don't know if you saw the goal for Lascelles in the 94th minute. I mean, he even celebrated.
Yeah. He didn't really celebrate. It was almost like he was like it was almost like he was shocked that he scored. It was like it was I think it was in the end they were just happy that they got away with a point, really. I think they knew that if we had lost there would have been a lot more there would have been a lot more pressure on Bruce, but I think Lascelles knows that some of the fans do not want him in the team now, because I think Lascelles has went back as well. You know what I mean? He's not the captain that we used to have. Like, he used to be very good and very vocal, but he's not vocal anymore. Don't get us wrong. Matt Ritchie's obviously past his prime. Matt Ritchie's past his prime now, but at least he's got that vocal edge and that bit of fight and bit of desire. So I think that me personally, I think we're best centre halves are Clark and Fernandez. Hello? Can you still hear us? Hello? 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 Can you still hear us? Hello? Oh, hello.
Sorry, we lost David there. David, come back, mate. I'll just send a link again. Because he's making flipping good points as well, you know. And he's been talking a lot of sense as well. And at the end of the day, I mean, he could be right. We just talked about Lascelles there. He's just not a leader first anymore. Do you know what I mean? And it's so frustrating. He's not vocal enough. I just don't think he leads the team enough. And for me, he needs to fix up alongside Shelby. And also, there he is. He's come back in again. I just got to get back in, David.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't know what happened there. It just was like I was going hello, and it just mustn't have been able to hear us. But I'm back now.
Oh, good luck, man. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, that Lascelles, man, is just, for me, I just don't think Leeds coming. Actually, for me, I look at the players, yeah, he just didn't seem to care. You just said there, you were shocked that he scored a goal. No one didn't celebrate it. Do you know what I mean? Because they knew they played absolutely rubbish again. And
like
just go fight.
Aston Villa were there to be beat on Friday night. You know, without Grealish, Aston Villa were nothing really. Sorry if there's any Villa fans watching, but that's the truth. Without Grealish, they would be in the bottom three. So for me, Villa was there. I think Villa. That's a frustrating thing. I think Villa and Wolves game. There were two games where the teams were there to be beat. In West Brom as well, 3 games where we should be beating those teams. We get 9 points out of 9, and we're out of relegation trouble as such, and we move on. We'll move on for the season, but it's lack of points again. And against West Brom as well, the game was poor, and like it was both teams settled for a 0-0 draw, and these are 2 teams that are fighting for relegation. It's like it's embarrassing, really.
Yeah, man. I totally agree with you there, you know what I mean? But it seems like Steve Bruce is going there with a defeatist mentality. He goes in there, his press conference is wrong. He goes, oh, yeah. And he also said as well that I hopefully, maybe whatever sort of thing, you know, for me, that's not enough for Newcastle United.
Yeah, he starts off, well, you know, these are a good opposition. Like, he always puts the pressure on with players and, like, always, like, bigs up the opposition where...
Yeah, he does.
You sometimes think, which team are you manager of? Are you manager of Newcastle United or the other team? Because you give them more sort of respect than you do your own teammates and your own players. And for me, him fighting with Matt Ritchie isn't acceptable either. And Matt Ritchie apologised, which I don't think he should have apologised. You know what I mean? It was good that he had that fight about him, but Bruce has not apologised for his part of it in it. And really, Bruce is at fault for what happened. And not only that, he's the manager. He should be taking the responsibility with the rest of the team and stuff like that. But I think as well, it just shows that the mentality goes down through from the top of the club to the bottom of the club. But under 23s are bottom of their league as well. So it just shows you that there's just negativity every game and stuff. And I don't know if you know Steve Wraith, who does a lot of like the podcasts and stuff. He didn't even watch the Newcastle game on Friday night. He watched telly because he said that he was going to catch up on telly because he was just sick of it. So it's getting to the stage
totally agree, man. It's just
It's getting to the stage where it's gone off again. Why has it gone off again? It's gone off again, hasn't it? I don't know if everyone can see me. Like, so I don't know what's happened with John's stream, but it's gone off. But yeah. So I think just
there you go.
Yeah. Are you still there, John?
Yeah, I'm still there, mate. I'm still there. Yeah, you said about Steve Wraith.
Yeah, like Steve Wraith didn't even watch the match on Friday. You know, you've got long-time Newcastle lifers that are now not watching the games because it's got so bad at St James's Park that they just can't watch it. Like, it's actually hurting them to watch the team fall apart, really. It's really sad.
Yeah, man. The thing is, right, I mean, I've said a couple of times, yeah, I just think, I'll be James' comment first. Steve Bruce plays for a point, and that's part of the problem. We need to have a winning mentality to win games. Steve said, Baldica's side haven't won a match in Alex this season. In fact, they won once they beat Spurs at home. There's a problem at John's end. I think there is, James. I tell you what it is, right? It's my mum's using the phone. And I've got Lee as well. There's a problem at John's end, and it's not Joe Linton. And I've got Isaac Cork as well. First time as well. Isaac, subscribe to my channel, my guy. You know, what do you think of ASM? I'll ask you this question, David. What do you think of ASM in France? Just taking time off.
Well, I think if the clubs told me can go there, I think it's bad because we're in obviously in COVID. But if the clubs says yes, you can go there, that's fine in a way because he's got permission. But if he's just jumped on a plane and went home, that's not acceptable. Just because he's a flair player, he can't have different rules to the rest of the other players. Joe Linton, don't get us wrong, Joe Linton got his hair cut and he got fined massively, but you've got to be consistent with all your players, you know what I mean? You can't...
Yeah, man.
Just because he gets on with the fans, he can't be getting lesser, bigger, more leniency than the rest of the players. I think the room... Well, what I've heard is that ESM went over there to see a surgeon, so if that's the case, that could be... good for the club, but if it's just to go and see family over there, sorry, but you should be at least fined a couple of weeks' wages for that. Because obviously in this COVID pandemic, like I've not seen my father in a year, so it's like we've got to all do a little bit, really, to.
You're right there. The thing is, right, if you got say. I live in Bristol now, and like I've got a son, right, up in Pegswood, right. I'm gonna open it up now. I've got a son living in Pegswood. I haven't seen him for 12 years, right, and I decided to go and see my son, right. I've been vaccinated yesterday. I could go and see him, can I? Surely.
Yeah. I think you should be able to. Yeah, I think if you've been vaccinated, I think you should be able to. Especially with social distancing, it still should be fine.
Yeah.
To do that, but I think ESM as well. I don't know. There's a problem with his attitude towards Bruce as well. I think him and Bruce have fallen out as well.
Yeah.
I think by the end of the season, it's going to be easier to list the players that haven't fell out with Bruce than the players that have. But I think if he's done anything illegal, well, not illegal, but anything that's not. That the club's allowed, I do think he should be fined. But I think with ESM, I think they're being very careful with him because they know he's a flair player. They know that he's one of our big players. So I think they're almost like treat him like as a child sometimes to keep him happy, so he doesn't like leave the club. But
it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. I mean, this should never happen. This wouldn't happen on Rafa Benitez. Just read James' comment.
No.
It's ASL problem, a typical French player, attitude problem like HBA, Laurent Robert. He's quite right, by the way. And not what it is,
Yeah.
right, Dave. I'm not being funny, but at this moment in time, it seems that Bruce is almost scared of him. He's always scared. He's being weak. Being weak. The players as well. Let them do what they want.
It's almost like the players have got something on Bruce that he's worried about, like getting like let out. You know what I mean? It's almost like they've got some sort of dirt on Bruce, so he's just letting them away with murder. Really. Wait, on that Rafa Benitez, ESM's not going back to France. He's not going anywhere. He's staying with the club and getting treatment at the club. He wouldn't be travelling. But I think Bruce has got to the stage now. The players don't respect him. You know what I mean? The players are against him, and he blamed Matt Ritchie for not knowing what to do when he come on the pitch. He's the manager. His job is to tell the players what they're doing.
Yeah. He's just absolutely clueless, man. Bruce, he needs to go. I mean, the fact is, I'll blame Ashley as well and Charlie for not getting a finger out and sort this out. They're allowing this to happen and happen and happen. Allow it to sink under. You know what I mean? And this is why the players are down tooling. They're down tooling. They don't want to be at Newcastle. They think, you know what? I'll play all the players. They're going to pick up my wages, you know what I mean? I'm not going to mention them, but we know who they are. The bottom line is, right, they don't seem to care. And if they get relegated, they're going to think, you know what? I don't care. I'll just go to another club. As long as I match the wages. Do you know what I mean? That's what's happening.
That's the thing with some of the players. I think there has to be a big clear out in the summer at St James's Park. I think as well, he fell out with Dubravka as well with a couple of comments. Obviously, Dubravka's in the team, but I can honestly see if Bruce is still in charge, Dubravka's not going to stay at Newcastle. He'll want to go. Yeah. The only positive we've got is that we've got Freddie Woodman, who's a really good goalkeeper on loan at Swansea at the moment, that could go in and fill that gap. But we don't want to be losing all the best players. Otherwise, it's going to be rebuilding totally again. You know, you don't want to be losing all the players. Otherwise, you're going to have to rebuild, and it's going to cost Mike Ashley a lot more money than he wants to spend on rebuilding a team. He's obviously spent 100 million on players for Bruce, but he wouldn't give Rafael Benitez 20. He wouldn't give him more than 50 million. And for me, obviously on that Rafa, with 100 million, we would be in a lot better position than what are now. And obviously, don't get us wrong, Rafa's not Superman. We wouldn't be winning the league or nothing, but we would be. He brought some pride back into the Newcastle United shirt, and you know, when we played Man City, we beat them 2-1. I think Matt Ritchie scored the winner, and you saw the passion. You saw the passion from Rafa on the touchline. You know what I mean? He got what it was to be a Newcastle manager and to make a team proud of its city.
Yeah. You're right there. They all have a faith for Rafa Benitez. They all loved him. They all care about him. They play for love of the game. But since he came in, John Joe Shelby, for him to come out and say that Steve is the best manager he ever played with, he's saying that, David, it's because they're getting the team every week.
Right? Getting the team every week?
Yeah, he's his favourites. He's one of his favourites. You know what I mean? He's not a leader. John Joe Shelby's not a leader. Right? He just said it earlier on. When he gives the ball away, he doesn't care. He just gives up. We don't want players to give up. We want players to do it for
if Steve Bruce is such a good manager, why are we in the situation we're in? If he's so good, why are we near the bottom of the table? You know what I mean? For me, John Joe Shelby can follow Steve Bruce to whatever club he goes to next, because I guarantee one thing, it won't be in the Premiership.
Definitely not. You're right. Just read this comments quickly. Bruce has fallen out of Dubravka, ASM, both Longstars. How good is his man management? I tell you what, it's absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Obviously shocking. If you've fallen out with 4 players, there's rumours that other players are unhappy. Obviously, we saw him fall out with Matt Ritchie and stuff. He throws players under the bus. He just deflects. He deflects all the time, you know what I mean? And he cuts something that you mentioned a few times before. Is he cuts off reporters before finished asking the questions, and you know what I mean? He's just very rude and arrogant, and he says he's a Newcastle United fan. But sorry, but you managed Sunderland, and I don't care. You could give us £1 million, and I would not manage Sunderland as a Newcastle fan. So for me, this is a man who's managed in both Birmingham clubs, both Newcastle and Sunderland, and both Sheffield clubs. The guy says he's a Newcastle United fan, but when he was playing Man United, he was caught out saying "we" when he was talking about Man United. How was he?
I remember that, man. Listen, man, when I heard that, I thought, wow, that's when he should have got sacked. The thing is, though, Ashley don't want to sack him because you don't want to pay him $4 million for him and the backroom staff. You know what I mean? That's the problem. But
that's the thing.
46 million for Joe Linton and Steve Bruce's coaching staff. So where's the sense in that?
The thing is, though, that's 46 million you could spend on better players. And Steve Bruce himself and his coaching staff, £6.5 million for him and his coaching staff. You can get halfway to signing Callum Wilson for that, for 20 million. You know what I mean? It cost him 20 million with 14 million added to it, and you're getting decent forward, because that's something that we're missing as well. We got Callum Wilson. Don't get us wrong, Callum Wilson's been excellent this season, but we know he's got injury problems. There's not that second striker that's been brought in to take the weight off Wilson. When Wilson's injured, we can bring in this other striker and he scores goals. We just don't have that. With Joe Linton, obviously he's not a striker. Maybe on the wing's a better position for him. But if he can't provide goals to the team, he's got to bring crosses into the box. And if he's frightened of shooting, go down the line and play 1-2 to cross it into the box for someone in the box to get there. Yeah,
man, you're right. You're right. I mean, as soon as we get Callum back into the team, the better. We desperately need him, man. Desperately.
I feel sorry for Joe Linton a little bit, because he come over here with the 40 million price tag, and obviously that's put loads of pressure on him. But obviously, I think he's had a few performances where he's been lazy and he's not looks like he's been trying, and I think that's what's been detriment to him and detriment to the team as well. But I will say one thing from him on Friday: he was hardworking. He did look like he was up for the game. He did give us something. When he went past that Villa defender and give a step over, I was like, I shouted at the telly, "Go on, Joe, son!" And I've never said that this season about him. So hopefully this is he gets a little bit better in confidence. If he's not a striker, that's fair enough. If we can get him into a position that's better for him and the better for the team, I would like that myself.
Definitely.
But I think we've got to start on the front foot again against Brighton. For Steve Bruce, for me, he's not a good manager. He's, I think this should be his last management job, to be honest with you. I think
definitely. I agree.
I think at the way Steve Bruce is, our local teams, Gateshead to where I live, and even Gateshead won't have him. They've got a better manager than Mike Williamson at the moment. So,
absolutely.
So I think he'd be struggling to get a job after this. And I just think, just tactically, to set up, we went to Sheffield United and West Brom to set up for a point against the worst team in the league, the second worst team in the league. There's no other team in the Premier League would do that. You know what I mean? I think one manager I would like to say is David Moyes. He hasn't had massive amount of money to spend on the team, but he's managed to make them hard to beat, hard working and giving 100% to the club. We need that really with our team. That, don't get us wrong, there's obviously players there that's not Premier League level, but if you give 110%, I think you can forgive some of the lack of quality if they make it up for an effort.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. I take down Royce all day long because, like you said, he makes you hard to beat. And, he will have come to Newcastle, but not without Cashley. But I've got Leah here. I got two comments there. To be honest, if we got relegated this season and Dubaka left, I wouldn't be bothered. That as long as you keep Woodman, because he's a top quality keeper with championship experience. I think if Swansea City goes up, I think he'll go to Swansea.
Yeah, I think he
would agree. I'm just going to be undisclosed on that one. And who? Please subscribe to my channel. Who's your first time? Apparently, Wilson's back in outdoor training. That's according to who. So
if he's training, I think that's good. And obviously, if Miggy's training and looks like he's getting towards fitness, these are two positive things, John. But it's important that he doesn't rush them back, because we know what's happened in the past where he's rushed players back and they've got injured again. So it's important that we get them back when it's just right. One thing I want to say about like Mankiw, he bought Mankiw for Kraft. He bought Mankiw on for Kraft, and Mankiw did not look fit when he come on. He couldn't get up to the pace of the game. And to be honest, it's bad when you're worse than Kraft for a game. And Mankiw was struggling. My worry is that you've got a choice of Kraft or Mankiw. So it's like, is a fit Kraft better than an injured Mankiw? That's what you want to look at. But I think as well, we've got obviously the under-23s. We've got a few lads down there. Don't get us wrong, a Premier League level's a bigger level and a harder level to get. But these boys need a chance to go into the first team and see what they've got, you know what I mean? I think we've got people like Elliot Anderson in there, and we've got we had Tom Allen, but I don't know if Tom Allen's on loan. I think he might be on loan. And I think someone like Kellen Watts as well, when he comes back from Plymouth. I think from Plymouth, once he comes back, we've got to have a look at these young lads. We've seen how these young lads can progress once they've left Newcastle United. We've seen Ivan Toney become a really good striker for Brentford, but Peterborough before that, and we've obviously Adam Armstrong, who has been outstanding for Blackburn. So we need these young lads to come on and do well, really.
I totally agree. I haven't seen Kellen Watts as a defender, but he's getting very refused to Plymouth Argyle, and I think he'll be decent. He's a big lad, 6'7", big lad, and I'd take him all day long. You've got to give him a chance. But what I'll probably do, if we stay up next season, I'll get Kellen Watts into a championship team, like a big boys, right? Get him in there. And then hopefully things will be great for him. David, just before I let you go, my guy, can you tell us what the score's going to be on Saturday? And are we going to stay up?
I'm going to be positive and say Newcastle United 2, Brighton 1. I think we'll win 2-1. I think I want the normal bet I normally do is Willock to score any time in the game, but I think this week I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Clark got a header and had redemption from last week. So I felt sorry for him scoring the own goal, because one thing about Kevin Clark, he gives you 110%, and he's a really good centre half. But 2-1 to Newcastle, I think.
I'm going to say 1-0 to Brighton. I don't think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be really tight, but I think Brighton find a way. And I don't want to be positive. I don't want to be negative, but at the end of the day, I just want to be truthful as well. So, I'm saying 1-0 to Brighton. I've got GMs as well, saying Kellen Watts' feature against Liverpool last season played well. And GMs as well, so feel into Newcastle and who are the lads. Listen, David, thanks for coming on, my guy. And thanks for coming on. And it's been a pleasure. And make sure you come back again, mate.
I will do. You take care, John, and thank you for having us on.
You too.
And stay safe, everyone.
Thank you very much indeed, my guy, and have a lovely evening, and hopefully get a win on Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
You too. See you later. Ta. There you go. That's my guy, David, and he's a great lad. He's very, very knowledgeable in Newcastle. Make sure you come back again, my friend. So just going to wrap this up very, very quickly. And I've got Jordy Tino to Brighton, And I got a wreck out and functional 1C. Subscribe to me channel, me mate. That's your first time. Who said going 1-1 because I'm a dual specialist? Yeah. You would say that, would he? Listen, thanks for coming on, okay, and and say I've got to get off my chest on Steve Bruce and the situation's going on in a minute, and as the things on top as well. I should be back either tomorrow or Thursday. And listen, if you like my videos, please smash the likes up on the video and subscribe if you're new, and leave a comment section down below and contact me on Twitter and on Facebook. And thanks for joining us, and I shall speak to you again soon. See you later.